The boy noticed something unusual. The paper of the ancient painting seemed to be slightly thicker than ordinary painting paper. To confirm his suspicion, he quickly asked someone to bring several large blocks of ice. The ice was placed across the entire table. Then he covered the ice with a piece of red silk cloth. Next, he carefully laid the ancient painting on top of the silk. Finally, he gently soaked the paper with clean water. At this moment, many of the experts watching thought the boy was just putting on a show. What they didn't realize was that his next move would completely change their understanding. The boy took out a small fire striker. He took a mouthful of strong liquor and sprayed a fine mist above the painting. Just before the alcohol could evaporate, he quickly ignited it with the striker. A brief sheet of flame passed over the surface, heating the painting instantly. Because ice was placed underneath, the temperature never reached the point where the painting itself would burn. As the paper slowly warmed, the internal fibers began to expand under the heat. Seeing the timing was right, the boy carefully prepared an extremely thin gold filament. Then he began separating the paper layer by layer. What was originally one painting was gradually divided into two, or even more layers. The process looked almost like operating a precision machine. Because the paper was incredibly thin, this step required extreme focus. The slightest mistake could ruin the entire painting. Since the ink from traditional paintings can penetrate through layers of paper, each separated layer still looked like an authentic piece. The only difference was a slight variation in color. It was similar to the effect of using carbon copy paper. Eventually, the painting was separated into 3 layers. To everyone's surprise, the very bottom layer turned out to be the real original. At this moment, the people watching below the stage could no longer remain calm. Their earlier arrogance completely disappeared. The boy immediately wrote the word authentic on the evaluation paper, declaring the painting genuine. Seeing this, William secretly felt relieved. As long as the paper was burned, his plan would be complete. But unexpectedly, just as the paper was about to be lit, the boy suddenly stopped. He realized something felt too easy. Looking down at William in the audience, who appeared unusually calm, the boy suddenly became suspicious. What if the flaw he discovered had been intentionally arranged by William? Without hesitation, the boy tore up the evaluation paper. He returned to the 3 separated paintings and examined them once again. Then, when he looked closely at the signature on the painting, he was completely stunned. A moment later, he changed the result to fake and then burned the paper. Everyone in the room was shocked. They all believed the boy had made the wrong judgment. Only William, who knew the truth, looked extremely uncomfortable. Even so, he still held on to a small hope that the boy was only guessing. Until the boy calmly explained, the painting itself was nearly perfect. Even the original artist might not immediately notice the difference. But unfortunately, there was one tiny flaw: the final signature. At that moment, William's expression turned extremely grim. If someone hadn't suddenly interrupted him earlier, the painting's secret might never have been discovered.